Hello, my name is Monique Nowlin, and I'm your host for this episode of Our Ventura TV. Today, I'll be talking with Rhetta Wilson, a caregiver for her mother in Ventura County. Rhetta is here to talk with us about her caregiving journey and what she's learned to share with our community. Rhetta, thank you so much for being here today. We're glad to have you.
You're welcome.
Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what led you to becoming a caregiver for your mother?
Well, as you know, my name is Rhetta Wilson, and I was caregiving probably for the last 31 years. And I've caregivered for just many different types of people: elderly, children, adults with disability. So my journey of a caregiver goes back as far as 32 years.
Very good. And so that journey led you to become a caregiver for your mother?
So I became a caregiver for my mother. Unfortunately, I lost my father in 2017. And so my mother wanted to move back to Southern California. They lived in Northern California. And we came back here because this is where her family is, her kids, her grandkids, all the kids are here. And so we wanted to just have her back home. And she ended up living with me. And so it's been a pleasure having Mom here.
Well, with all that experience you have, it sounds like you were the right family member, sibling, if you will, to be that caregiver.
And I was chosen from my father. It was part of his wish, for to come back here, be with the family, and to live with me. Yes.
What an honor that he trusted you and chose you to help your mother and his wife. And Rhetta, can you tell us some of the daily tasks that you engage in? So, what are the types of tasks that you handle as a caregiver for your mother?
So it's the caregiving starts from A to Z. It's really first it starts with a lot of patients, but I do Mom's medications. Mm-hmm. I do doctor's appointments. I prepare her meals for her, and I do her shopping for her. I take her out for walks. We do exercises at home. We laugh together a lot too. And so we have a lot of fun together. And with this journey with my mom, it's a little bit different because it's Mom and there's lots of love. So it makes it even more worth it.
Oh, I love that. And as a caregiver, what are some of the strategies or tools that you use to aid you in your caregiver journey? Do you use certain tools? Do you work with the doctors?
So this is really good. My journey is the first thing we should always do. I have a great team. Always should start off with a great team, and the tool is really my family. Mm-hmm. So I have one of the reasons my mother came back to Ventura County because the family is here. So I have sisters that live here in Ventura County, as I do live here in Ventura, and they're here to help me if I need to go to the doctors, if I need food preparation. Mm-hmm. So all the things that if I don't get a chance to do it, I have my family who's the tool. We're called Team Sarah. Oh, so okay. Team Sarah gets together, so when one doesn't get to do, the other gets to pick up, and we just come together and help Mom.
So I love that. So you have a team, you are supporting your mother, but you have a team behind you to help you support your mother.
Highly recommended to have a team. Highly recommended.
And they pitch in wherever you need them to do.
Yeah, so for example, if I call one sister, Sunday, can you prepare a full course meal? Mm-hmm. And absolutely, she'll get a home cooked meal that one of my sisters may prepare because they're better cooks. Mm-hmm. And they'll bring the food over, and Mom just loves it. One of her favorite dishes, they'll just cook it for her. Wow. Which is great. Actually, that happened last Sunday.
Very good.
Yes.
And Rhetta, what have you learned about yourself as a caregiver in your profession? You said you've been doing it over 30 years, but also on your caregiver journey for your mother. What have you learned about yourself?
I learned that I have a lot more patience than I thought. It's really, the job really inquires that you do have patience, and I do have a lot. And I know it's probably a little biased because it's Mom, mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of patience and love there as well. But when the patience came in, I said, I really do have the patience. So it's patience, and you just take this journey one step at a time. And then you just, as you're going at each step, you just learn more and more about yourself. And the biggest thing that I learned was the patience about myself. It's like, oh, wow, it takes patience.
Wow. And I want to go back to what you said about having that team behind you. And it sounds like part of your team, besides your family, are medical professionals that you work with. Can you explain a little bit
It
more
is.
to the audience about how you work with the medical professionals and your team and your mother.
So yes, we do have medical professionals behind us, and the good thing about it is I have a great rapport with all of her doctors and 2 nurses. So it works out good. I even have a good rapport with the pharmacy. So everything really works just in order the way it's supposed to. And that's important too. When you're taking care of your elderly parent, you want to have a good rapport with your physicians. You want to have a good rapport with the pharmacy. So it works out. It's like a domino effect. It just works all good together. And so that's what I've learned. Get a good good rapport with the pharmacy. Get a good rapport with the doctors, and that way, when you're calling, everything works out perfect. So I'm always able to get things accomplished just because I got to build that rapport with the physicians.
And Rhetta, thank you for that. And that begs the question. The next question I wanted to ask about is, if I'm someone who's starting a caregiver journey for a loved one, or if I'm in the middle of my caregiving journey, you've given us some important tips that you use that are important along the way for what you're doing with your mother. Is there anything else that you would like to add or to give some information to somebody just starting out as a caregiver, in the middle of caregiving? Any other salient points?
If you're starting off, please, you definitely want to build a team if you can. Sometimes I know it's hard if you move to a different city and you don't have family around. Maybe you have friends from your church or from your community or from the school, but you want to build a team. And that's important, because if you're not able to take the loved one to a doctor's appointment, you want to be able to call on one of your team members to help you carry the journey out, or if you can't get to the pharmacy. So that's very important. And one thing I wanted to say, like for example, medications, I'm able to prep my medication a week in advance, so I can make sure that I don't run out. Or you're giving medication and you're like, oh, I'm on my last pill. No, you're able to prep in advance so you can have enough time to order medications for the following week. That's really important too.
Very good. And Rhetta, one important person I don't want to leave out and I want to discuss is your mother. How do you work with your mother to make sure you are moving forward with what she would like to do and her wishes?
Good question. Well, me and Mom have a good rapport. So the communication is very important. And if you're working with a loved one, facial expressions are important. Your body language is important. You want to be able to display positivity at most times, all the time if you can. So with me and Mom, of course she's my mother, we know each other, but we have a great rapport between each other. And that helps out a great deal, because you can be taking care of just a loved one, but you want to build a rapport. That's very important. So, and then you give her options and choices. Well, what would you like for dinner? What would you like for dessert? And what would you like to watch on television? And you're going to get some answers. And it's good to give choices too.
Yeah, very good. Well, Rhetta, thank you so much. If there was one thing, just one thing you could impress upon our viewers, what would that one thing be?
Patience. Be patient, and especially if it's a loved one, if you display the love, it just goes a long ways. It's infectious, so you can't lose.
Well, that's all the time we have left for today's show. I'd like to thank you, Rhetta, for speaking with us and sharing a little bit about your caregiver journey. My name is Monique Nowlin, and until next time, thank you for watching Our Ventura TV.